This is the Evil Never Dies podcast with Brett and Carl. This podcast may contain adult themes, violence, and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Doing a little bonus episode today for remembering our buddy Jerry Paulley, who passed away Thanksgiving morning after heart complications. Um, Very sad time. We were going to do this last week, but it was still a little fresh.
It was fresh, and you also had computer problems, and we didn't want to
Yeah,
screw it up.
exactly.
So we just
Uh,
sort of just skipped over it last week, and it sort of felt the right thing to do it was too soon.
yep, too soon for sure. But yeah, if you guys aren't Facebook friends with either Carl or I, uh or aren't in the group, then if you don't know Jerry and his wife Tracy were the host of the Hillbilly Horror Stories podcast, and big following. He's they People have shown him a lot of love in the last little over a week. So uh and I wanted to give a shout out to Tim Mullins, especially. He really stepped up and kept everybody informed in their group, because that group is huge. It's the girl who does our little intro,
Natasha.
Natasha. She started that group back in, I think, 2017, 2016. That group's been around for a long time. There's over 5,000 people, maybe more than that in it now, but uh it's an awesome group.
I
Uh,
think that group is going to be Jerry's legacy. I think Tim even said that,
yeah, for sure.
and Tracy said she wants the group to continue. So people need to, if you're not a part of it, you might want to look into it. I mean, they do a
Exactly.
lot of stuff on that group that has nothing to do with paranormal.
Yeah, for sure. It's a place to go
It's
for help if you need to
it's a
talk to
support
somebody.
group.
Yep, it's a big support group, 5, 6,000 people strong. So, like Jerry always says, it's okay not to be okay. Talk to somebody, if you need somebody to talk to. And that group is the place to go for that. So, uh, yeah, at the beginning of every episode, they talked about that, mental health issues, and uh, supporting the troops and police officers and all the first responders before they even start their show. That's what they talk about. So, uh, yeah, good people. Jerry is definitely going to be missed. He's a big mentor to me for sure. Uh, he's the one that I got the idea about even doing a podcast, and messaged him and asked him about it. He's like, "Well, yeah, that's very unique, what you guys want to do." So, and he said, "Go for it." So here we are. What, 300 and something episodes later? So, uh,
Yeah, I think he was really proud of what you did too. He'd been on our show several times.
yep,
Recently him and Tracy came on and did a movie review.
yep.
So I think he was proud of you and everything you accomplished with it. I really do.
But I appreciate everything he did for me. He taught me how to run all the editing software and all that. One night we were on here for like 2 hours. He was teaching me how to do it, just over Messenger. So
That's the kind of guy he was. So
exactly,
I'm hoping that people will step up and keep his stuff going too. Somebody needs to be there for people, and people are gonna have to step up now that
exactly,
otherwise haven't, because they depended on Jerry, and now that void's gonna have to be filled, and that's what he would want, big time.
exactly.
Now, just me, I wasn't a big fan of any podcast. When Brett told me to do, he told me to listen to them, and I'm like, well, if they're on YouTube, I'd be more willing to do it. And obviously they are the reason this show got started. And I've always laughed and said I don't listen to podcasts, but here I am.
Exactly.
So I've been kind of more pushing toward the YouTube, which we've been very successful at. And I think Jerry had me on his show as a guest twice.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good, and I was telling him everything about the Baker Hotel. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna move you to our Sunday show. You're actually gonna be on the main episode." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And a sad for me, it's sad. I was telling him about my grandmother's house, and he's like, "Well, you need to come on and tell me about that." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it later." One night he posted in the group, "Hey, if anybody wants to come on and tell some stories, message me." And I'm like, I should do that. But I didn't. And now I regret it. I really do. Because that would have been something I think he would have liked to hear. And he seemed generally interested in hearing it.
He does everybody's stories that,
Yeah.
he's got thousands of episodes of that, of just listener stories, people calling in and stuff and writing in.
The thing I noticed about Jerry is he seemed to treat everybody as an equal, even though, we're really nobodies in this podcast, YouTube world. And he was a somebody, but he treated us just like we were all equal.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was I think somebody cloned the term podfather instead of godfather.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was our buddy Todd.
Yeah. And Todd and Sean and Jimbo and Tim, they're sort of our family. And again, that's because of Jerry. And
Exactly. Just
we
all
have a little,
just not them. I've just met so many people. My
and I don't
friend
meet
Tanya
anybody.
Bruce,
I'm
from
I'm like antisocial. I don't get on much. Whoa. Yeah, you
yeah,
have met a lot of people, and you're very much in the whole podcast community, big time, Brett.
but yeah. I was on Jerry's show a long time ago. I told him that story about when I lived over there on with what's her name?
Oh, the lady that's now haunting your. It's about time for the hauntings to start over there, actually.
Yeah, it's the 1st of December.
Yep,
Let's not.
let's do it.
I already got people trying to break in
Break
my
in your house,
bedroom
break or
window in the
open your
middle of the
window at
night.
least, yeah.
Yeah, so but
So what's the
anyway,
deal with the dimes? I'm not real up on that one.
well, the first this is the thing. Uh, it was their episode from, I think it was not the last episode they put out, but the one before. It's been a couple of weeks ago. I was listening to it, and when he started, he had mentioned that his one of his neighbors had passed away, and he was talking to the lady's husband, and he knew that Jerry was all into the paranormal and stuff, and uh, Jerry told him, start. He asked how would she communicate with me, and he's like, well, if you start finding dimes in places that you wouldn't normally find them. And right then, I was listening on my way to work, and right then I pulled up to the gas pump and turned
There
off
was a
my
dime.
truck. I opened up the truck door, and looked down, and there was a dime right there. So I messaged him. I said, "Dude, I'm not gonna believe this." Told him the story. You know what his response was?
What?
Make sure you claim that on your taxes.
That sounds like him. I remember when we
Yeah.
did that movie review, he was like, "Yeah, this movie is just total shit." I'm like, "Well, you could have picked something else." He's like, "Nah, this is fine."
I like the out of all the podcasts, we're one of them. I'm putting that clip. I'm gonna add that clip in at the end of this.
He
But
did say that, didn't he?
yeah,
Well,
uh,
he was a stand-up comedian, so
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of funny. He was a funny dude.
Yes, he was for
I
sure.
wish I'd have known him better than all you guys did, but like I said, the few times I interacted with him, he treated me very fair and very equal, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, and he's got a very dark sense of humor too.
Well, so do I.
And you could actually tell that from his other podcast that he started with Amanda, uh, warning you'll be offended. And I actually wrote three or four fucked up stories to that he read over the air that he read. So uh talking about poop and stuff, lots of poop stories.
Oh Lord. So I've got a Kiss shirt on because I don't have a hillbilly horror
Yeah, I
story
got my
shirt.
hillbilly. You can still get one. And I encourage
You
everybody
know
to
what I
go
really
visit.
want? I want to. He was going to send me a book and he forgot, so I need to order me an actual paper copy of the book.
I got me a copy. I
Yeah,
bought
but he seemed to be a big fan of Kiss. He liked hearing me tell Kiss stories.
that book's
So,
good. I actually read his book.
and you don't read shit.
I don't. I don't. And he also played it on the podcast. He read it on the podcast over like 3 or 4 episodes. He'd do like a chapter an episode.
Wow.
And it was actually better hearing him actually read it with his voice. It was awesome. So, but yeah, when they had their live show here in Dallas, I went down there. Yeah,
I
I don't
remember you went.
I,
You were like, you need to go. I'm like, I don't even know who these people are. I don't want to. I don't know if I should go or not. And I
yeah,
wish I had have.
yeah, but I was
Yeah.
lucky
How
enough
was the
to.
live show? How was it seeing them live? You never really
It
said.
was awesome. You get I gotta. This is awesome as shit. This story I'm gonna tell right now.
You're not supposed to
I
be cussing.
Well, I done told Jimbo because this is gonna go on Jimbo's show for the Christmas show. So,
I apologize, Jimbo, for his mouth.
well, anyway, I got there early and they were just pulling up and he was just starting to unload his truck. I said, "Hey Jerry, well, nice to meet you and whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, you need a hand hauling everything in because he had the big speaker, PA speakers and stuff, and all their merch and stuff like that." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you're here to help. No, I don't have to do all this shit." And
That sounds
then
like some of the musicians I've known over the years.
and
Like, you
then
need any help? And yeah, I've heard that, but yeah, that's funny.
and then we're hooking the stuff up and I would do something. I'd hook it in. I'd move the speaker over, and he'd be like, "No, no, no, that's not where that goes. It's got to be right here." And he'd
Yeah,
move it, and he'd move it like just a half an inch.
makes a
I'm
difference,
like, I'm
dude.
like, man, what's going on here, man? And finally, after it was all said and done, he's like, "Man, I was just messing with your ass."
I've had that done to me
Then I
too.
got him back, though I screwed up Leslie Fear's intro. He goes, "Man, I'm gonna have you intro Leslie, okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, cool. What do I got to do?" And I messed it up. We had to restart it. I think he was sort of pissed off about that, but I got him back for messing with me. So
Well, you never know. He might not have been messing with you. He might have just felt bad for being mean to you and just like, no big deal. Because these guys take their audio serious.
well, I do too, but just just the way he did it though, he just
Yeah,
moved
Brett. I would love to tell Jerry the fact that you've been sitting in front of a microphone for how long and you've been using the damn computer mic all this time
No,
and
not that,
griping at me.
not all this time. It switched. It switched when I hooked up the new
Oh,
computer. Yeah, yeah.
you talking to a mic that was muted.
No,
I still think my mic might be going out. I don't.
just the last two episodes, but everything's copacetic now. But anyway, I suggest everybody still going and listening to their back catalog and downloading a bunch of episodes. Start from episode one before Tracy was even on the show, and I totally suggest checking them out. Jerry put on a good and Tracy put on a great show, man.
They
Uh,
did. There's no doubt about it.
um,
Every time I did listen, I enjoyed it. I just don't get in. I don't really go to podcasts much because I'm at work all at the desk all day, and I don't have a chance to hear audio. When I go to lunch, which is just an hour, but it takes me 7 minutes to drive home from work, so I'm not in my car a lot except on the weekends. And half the time I got the grandkids with me, so we're playing music or
well,
something. So
I didn't even listen to podcasts either until I started driving my driving job,
yeah, you got a lot of driving.
and I just searched on Spotify. I just typed in horror, and
That's how you found them.
that's how I found them.
That's too
I was
cool.
like, hillbilly horror stories. What's
I know
this?
when you
You
told
know?
me that, I'm like, I don't want to listen to some hillbilly telling a horror story. And that's not what it was. I don't know where they come up with that name. How did he get that name?
That's what he picked. But
'Cause I don't consider Jerry a hillbilly in any sense of the word.
oh, Jerry's a hillbilly, man. He's from Kentucky.
No, I just say it. I never really got that vibe from him. But I'm from Texas, so I probably wouldn't get a vibe. You're more of a hillbilly than anybody I know, and you're from Illinois.
I'm an Illinois hillbilly. But yeah, I think that's why me and Jerry got along so good, is because a lot in common, right? Same age. A lot of the grew up listening to the same music, stuff like that. Jerry's a big Beatles fan. Um, yeah, dark sense of humor for sure. And yeah, he'd send me just some messed up stuff over Messenger sometimes. I just shake my head like, thanks, Jerry Paulie. Needed that. I always got a smile for sure. But yeah, you will be missed, brother, for sure. Uh and gonna post the link to the GoFundMe to help Tracy out. Uh who knows
Even
when
if you
her
just give $1,
yeah,
every,
dollar.
you know, uh, if everybody gave $1, that would be a big help. So,
Exactly. And we
no
are
pressure,
selling
but
we
it
got
would
like
really. Oh yeah,
eight
the
shirts
shirts.
left. We got
Yeah,
like
our
eight
shirts.
left. Thanks to all the people that have bought them so far, and all that money is going to get to Tracy also. And buy a shirt for sure. So
Yeah, any Evil Never Dies podcast shirt will profits go directly to Tracy. So that was going until we run out of shirts. So,
eight
and they're already
left.
getting low.
I think I got
8 left.
yeah, I think I got four large and four extra large. So
There you go. Those are the key sizes most people want too. So
all right. Well, thanks everybody for uh listening to us remember our friend, and we will talk to you later.
Who cares what came before? We Once upon a time, the world was never blind like we are. Right now it seems you're only dreams and shadows. If wishes could be eagles, how you'd fly. This is your life, this is your time. What if the flame won't last forever? This is your here, this is your now. Let it be magical. Who cares what came before? We're only starlight. Once upon a time, all the world was blind like we are. This is your life, this is your time. Look at your world.